Hello, good afternoon, good evening. I hope that you are doing really well. I know that I'm early. I do recognize that I am early today. Um, and here is the reason why. I'm just going to wait till a couple people come in. I am going to tag a few people. I do not own the rights to this music, but it is by India Ari. It's called Steady Love. Just going to play a little bit of that, okay? Mm, steady love. Mm. Thank you for joining me. We're just going to play a little bit of that. I am actually coming on a little bit early because we have a storm coming here. And you may hear thunder. And so I did not want to cancel. I did not want to cancel on you all on today. And so I wanted to come on a little bit early. I think I'm probably about 15 minutes early. And so in that time, what I would love for you to do is to share this video, tag someone. I'm actually going to tag someone right now as well, some people right now as well, because I know that I am on here early. Tell me how your day has gone. How has everything been going? You guys know I'm Antoinette Marie Williams, aka Antoinette Marie Speaks. And so today I am sharing something that could be a little sensitive. I think I got to turn the light on now because I know if you guys hear that, you hear that. You hear that? I hear it, right? We're going to be talking about relationships on today. And specifically, I'm going to be speaking about how to be able to recognize a unhealthy relationship. You hear a lot of times people say toxic relationship. And I'm not even going to be on here too long, but I want this to be a discussion, right? So put your comments in there. Good evening, Facebook user. Put your comments in there. Ask me questions. So before I kind of go into it, I want to just give you a little bit of background about me. And I know many of you have this already, but I thought that it was important for me to reintroduce myself, that somebody said, maybe, because sometimes when you're on social media for so long, you tend to just to believe that people know who you are because you have, a certain amount of followers or whatever. I can guarantee you I'm not in this for any amount of followers, but I am doing this because I want to see you grow and I want to see you live well. And I want you to have the capability to invest in yourself, right? And so, again, my name is Antoinette Marie Williams, aka Antoinette Marie Speaks. And hey, Angel. And a little bit about my background. Whether this matters or not, I just think that it needs to be said because I have been asked for people to understand what my background is. And so turn that off. So that's what I'll do. So I have an undergrad in education. I have a master's degree in divinity. I have a postmaster's degree in community leadership from Marquette University in Wisconsin. And I have a whole lot of experience, y'all. People call it a divorcee. I don't know. I was a teen parent. I got married at 18. I had a baby at 18. So I know what it's like to be a teen mom. I know what it's like to be married for almost 25 years, as well as be single, unmarried for a little bit of time and then be remarried. So I totally understand it. And my background 100% is really totally, I want to see people heal. I want to see people grow. I want to see people really getting to a point where they really acknowledge them as being authentic in their own self, in their own body. As well as I'm a 3-time author, and I want to see individuals get to the place where they really, really, truly want to be in. And so as you all transition, I'm transitioning as well. And as many of you also know, I was in corporate America for quite a long time in the C-suite, and thought I wanted to work my way up to an S-suite, but God knew better. God knew better. And so I have a curriculum called Superwoman Syndrome that I speak all over the globe about, and helping individuals, specifically women that are in corporate America, or just individuals that have difficulty balancing life, family, and career. And so I'm looking forward to what's happening in 2021 and far beyond. And I love you. I want you to know that. I'm not just saying that. I mean that from my heart, that I love you. And there's nothing that you can do about it, right? So I just want to see you, and I love you. All right, so this may be a sensitive conversation. So if you have small kiddos, you may want them to maybe do some arithmetic or some math or something. So, but I'm going to be not that long with you, but this is a subject that I think it's very important. I think that it's important. I can speak from it, not just something that I perhaps read in a textbook, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to speak to you from the abundance of my experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the good, the bad, and the ugly again, but also the beautiful, the collateral beauty that can happen when you find yourself in a beautiful relationship, a beautiful relationship, right? And so, so did y'all tag people? Did you share it? Okay. So I'm going to just first kind of start off with saying a couple things, right? I want to just get this off the from the beginning. And I know there's a glare, but I need readers, right? So I have to make sure that I'm wearing them. You know, a lot of times when we want something so bad, we will decide to do anything to obtain it. And unfortunately, when it comes to relationships, many times we know that certain relationships may not necessarily be the best thing for us, right? You know, and I'm speaking not just to women, I'm speaking to men as well. Sometimes we know that certain relationships are not the best for us. But because we desire being in a relationship so much and so often, because we see certain things, we will decide to settle. Even when we settle down here, even when we settle for a relationship, we're not doing ourselves due diligence. We're not doing ourselves what I call justice, right? And so one of the things that I want to just say today to men and women, just don't invest in drama. What do I mean by that? When I say don't invest in drama, what I mean is that if you know that an individual, every time you're with them, or the majority of the time you are speaking with them on the phone, it's always about what somebody else did. It's always the drama, right? Do you think that that person is going to change whenever you get into a true relationship with that individual? I can tell you now, beloved, I would love to share, but it doesn't let me. Okay. I'm not sure, beloved, why it won't let you share. So let me edit the privacy. Oh, I see. There you go. It will now. It will let you share now. So try it again, okay? Because people are not going to change who they truly are from the inside out. So a lot of times we expect, for people to change, and we'll say, oh, they're just, investing in drama because of, their life experiences. Well, all I'm going to say is look at the tell signs and don't invest in dramatic individuals. And when I say dramatic, I'm not speaking about the arts. I'm speaking about drama-filled individuals. Like everything is something, like individuals that can go from 0 to 800 just in drama. Like, oh my God, everything. Listen, beloved, don't do that, right? You owe yourself enough to be in a relationship that is calm, that brings peace and clarity your way, right? Listen, I want you to listen to my words, okay? That brings peace and joy to you, right? Not that they become your peace or that they become your joy, but that they bring peace and joy your way, okay? So that's one. I probably got about 25, so I want you guys to take, ladies and gentlemen, to take notes, okay? The other thing that I want to say, and I'm looking at some of my notes here, in this day and age, you cannot afford to be around people that don't want to truly invest in you. Now, what I mean by that is that when you are giving of yourself, of your time, of your attention, of your financial stability to someone, and they are not reciprocating that same financial independence, that same joy, that same love, that same compassion, that's not going to serve you, let it go. And if you see it coming, I remember when I was going through my divorce, one of the things that my therapist said was that, yes, I had to go through some therapy, y'all. My therapist said, when you see crazy walking on the same side of the street that you're on, or you see confused, or you see just somebody that you know that just is not a part of your teacup, you need to cross the street. Don't just be like, oh, that's okay, I can handle it. You can't. And it's okay for you not to want to engage in, I call it craziness, just, things that make no sense at all, none whatsoever. You have the authority to say, I'm not going to engage in that anymore, even if it's someone that you perhaps once were married. Y'all hear that thunder, right? This is the reason why I decided to come on early. You don't have to say, I'm strong, I can handle it. If you see crazy walking straight towards you, go across the street. You don't have the time, the capacity to allow for anything to get you disaligned, right? That's number 2. Number 3, you have to also, I want you to believe that there are certain people that can't afford to be in your presence. Now, this is not about you're better than. This has nothing to do with that. What it does have to do with is that the assignment that you have, you can't afford to allow for every single person to be around you, because some people are givers and some people are takers. And I dare say some people are leeches, and they just will leech and suck the entire joy, the love, the compassion. And my grandmother used to say, people will try you. Listen, we're not doing that anymore. So I want you to be able to say to yourself, you know, whatever your name is, you can say Ramel, you can say Beniqua, you can say Angel, you can say whatever your name is, and say, I will no longer allow for people that cannot afford to be in my presence around me. Because you cannot afford to let other human beings take from you. You can't afford to allow for other individuals to come in and disturb the peace that you have. That's number 3, right? Number 4, and I know I'm going to get these numbers all mixed up, but just have some grace for me. Number 4, I want to say this. Money might spend the same. I thought I turned this down. Not sure what's going on with that. Money might spend the same, but time and energy does not. That coincides with what I said in number 3. It is easier for you to give individuals money because you can get that back. Time, you can never recover. Energy, you can never recover. And so many times when I speak to individuals and they are struggling with finding balance in their lives, that's the number one thing that I always have to kind of emphasize on, is that yes, you're making a lot of money, but you're not spending time with yourself. You're not self-caring. You're not spending time with your family, your children, your husband or your wife, or whatever it may be. So I want you to remember that, right? Money might be, you might be able to get the money, right? Money might spend the same. You can have $20, $50, $100, you know, and you can get that back, but you can never get time back, beloved. You can never get that energy back. Have you ever been, let's say, for instance, you were at a conference or something, and or a training, and then when you're excited about it, and then you open up that door and you find yourself moving into that room or that space, and all of a sudden you're like, what is going on in here? You can feel that energy, just something. Sometimes people can suck the energy out of you too, right? But you can have an opportunity where you can feel like certain things, and when you go into a room, you're just like, something happened here, right? Most people have that intuition, or they call it intuitiveness, to a certain degree, and you can sense it, right? And so I want you to remember that. Don't give people your time that literally you already know. Now, we're talking about unhealthy relationships today. So thank you for joining me. Thank you, Keisha, for joining on as well. And so you have to get to that point where you just say, you know what? I can't do it. And honestly, I want to say this to you. You actually cannot afford it. You can't afford to give people your time that are not, and those same people are not invested in you. You can't afford to just give people your energy, because there are certain premises, and particularly when it comes to energy, you can't always get that back, right? And so I just want to say that as well. The other thing I want to say, maybe this is 5. I know a lot of times we hear people say, and professionals and even psychologists and psychiatrists, they'll say, or relationship experts, they'll come out and they'll say, you know, the number one thing is communication. I think in a relationship, to have a healthy relationship, you must have great communication. I want to say that that is absolutely true. But I also want to say this. You can communicate with individuals, but if they don't comprehend what you're saying, beloved, then really, truly, is that communicating, right? People have to comprehend what you're saying. So if you're in a relationship and you have said, hey, I really don't like it when, when you leave the dishes in the sink, or when you call me that pet name, or whatever that thing is, and they continue to do it. And I had to learn this the hard way with my husband, right? So I'm thinking I'm doing something nice and romantic, and he said, I don't like that. And I'm like, oh, let me do it again. He said, listen, I done told you. And so the communication is very important, but the comprehension. So you have to say to individuals, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you comprehend what I'm saying? That I love you, but I don't like when you do that, right? So communication is definitely important, but I also want to say that above, as with, I'll say communication, that comprehension is also very important. Okay, so that was my preview, right? So it is 5 o'clock on the dot, y'all. Can you see that? Wait, it's 5 o'clock on the dot. Okay, so let's get into this. And so if you have just joined me, hey, you can share it. I noticed that my page set for friends only, so I've changed it, so you should be able to do what you got to do. So here's the thing: unhealthy relationships. Here are some signs, and I'm going to give you right now about 16 different things. And again, I can say this. Me too, Vaniqua. Let's say Vaniqua said a lot of times we know that that person won't grow with us and still go in it, knowing that I was very guilty of that in the past, but I know now. Absolutely, Vaniqua, and I'm going to be speaking about that as well. So let's go ahead and get in this, right? So my first thing, one of the signs of an unhealthy relationship, and I know this is going to sound like people are like, oh, it's common sense, it's fighting. If you find yourself literally fighting, which don't do that, beloved, please don't. But you're going back and forth, you're arguing about just even the little things, like you're upset and you guys are arguing about who's going to do dishes, who's going to sweep the floor, who's going to vacuum, who's going to do this, who's going to go to the grocery store. And that's something that is repetitive. That might be one of the signs that this may not be the best relationship with you and for you. And so I know I've heard people say, wow, we kind of argue about a little couple things, and that just lets me know that he cares. No, because you think about all of the energy that you allow to exude from your spirit to continually every single day. You're fussing, you're arguing about the same thing. That's not cute. It's not pretty, right? And I'm talking to males as well, right? So that's one way. And then if you're physically fighting, beloved, you're worth so much more. And I'm talking to males and females because I've seen it both. I do marriage counseling as well. And because I was a teen parent, even though I was married, I still was a teen parent. So I get it. I understand, what a teen parent goes through. And a lot of times we have young people right now that are getting into these really, really serious relationships at 18, 16, 15 years old. And so today I wanted to speak to that as well, right? Angel said, that is not the mood. That's not the move. I can guarantee you it's definitely not the move. So number 2, right? If you know that someone that you are in a relationship with, if they are a pathological liar, that's not the right relationship for you. It is an unhealthy relationship. And the reason why I say that, it's just common sense, right? Nothing ever grows or even thrives when you have someone that constantly, even one lie is not good. When you have somebody that is perpetually lying all the time. And I know a lot of times what happens is that sometimes we feel stuck, like, oh, that's a pass. We give people a pass. No, don't give people passes when you know something that they did or said that it affected you in a negative manner, and you have said something about it and they don't want to change. And what I want to say is what Vaniqua said: run, run, run. Go right on the other side, pack your stuff up, come up with a plan, because you deserve better. You deserve better, right? Lying is such a sign of so many different things. But when you ask someone, so let's say, for instance, you're in a relationship, and let's say, I'm going to switch on you. Let's say somebody is in a relationship and she comes home late, and you ask her, "Hey, babe, where you been?" I always look at patterns, routines. You change your routine, my eyes are open, like, right. And so you're asking her, "Hey, babe, where you been?" She's like, "Oh, I went and I had to go to the store," or so on and so forth. Okay, all right. But when you constantly see a pattern, right? You constantly see in a pattern, or they just come out and say, "Hey, you know what? I told you I was going to be here, but I'm not there," and just deal with it. Run. That's an unhealthy relationship. You deserve better. Okay. I don't know what number I'm on, but I'm going to keep going, right? The other thing is too, when you are in a relationship, you know that it's unhealthy when people give you ultimatums. Like, people sometimes will say to you, well, if you don't do this, then I'm just going to leave. If every time something goes wrong, somebody else gives you an ultimatum, like, if you don't fix this, if you don't do this, if things don't change, then I'm going to leave you. If things don't go right, then I'm going to leave. Let them leave. As a matter of fact, you can leave, because that's not a strong, beautiful relationship for you to be in. It's just not. It's not the best relationship for you to be in, beloved. And I know people will say, "Oh, no, I didn't really mean, it wasn't really an ultimatum. I just wanted you to change." Well, that's a problem too. That is a problem as well, right? So when you have people that continually give you ultimatums, and they kind of, they're like, well, I need for you to do this, or, you need to do this. And if you don't do this, then I'm going to leave. That is about control, and that is about power. That's about control, and it's about power, right? I see Angelique said romantic and platonic, those are all unhealthy signs. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons I did not put in here about romantic relationships. It doesn't matter if you are in a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship. When people come and they give you those types of ultimatums, that's not the relationship that you need to be in, beloved. I see Courtney said strong, beautiful relationships to be in. You can find a really strong relationship to be in. Here's the other thing. And as I'm talking to you, I remember I left my windows open in my room, but I'm going to keep going, and I'll get the water up later. All right. Cause I want to keep my flow. Right. So here's another thing too. If you are in a relationship, romantic or platonic, and every time you engage with this individual, they make you feel guilty. Like, they're always saying something negative about something, or they make you feel like you're not good enough, or you should have did this, and you're happy, like, wow, I got, even if it's like $1 raise. Oh yeah, I got $1 raise, and you're excited about it, and you're like, yay. And then somebody comes in, well, you should have got $3 raise, like, right? So when you experience this on a constantly, this is a sign of an unhealthy relationship. And I've seen this a lot, because what happens is that sometimes in relationships, we inherently or inherently, we compete with one another. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so when you see that sign, that somebody is always making you feel down, they're always making you feel guilty. Or, for an example, if they say, well, if you would have done this, then this wouldn't have happened. And it's always, if you would have done this, then something else negative happens. Run. That's not the best relationship for you to be in. Okay. The other thing that coincides with that is that it's always one-sided, right? So it's like they're perfect. It's never about them. It's always on you, or the attention. Anything that has to be positive, it's always talking about them. Like, they're great, they're beautiful, they're handsome, they smell good, so on and so forth. But when it comes to you, you're just mediocre. That's not a balanced relationship, beloved. It's not a balanced relationship. That part, Brandy, right? Because you were created by the same God that they were created by. So nobody is better than the other. Some people just have more experience, but there's no better, there's no best in a beautiful relationship. Next number, they are always putting you down. They don't want to support you in your goals, and your goals are not in the forefront, but theirs are. Yep. So if you are in a relationship, romantic or platonic relationship, and you're excited about your goals, and then you come to them and you want to engage in a really great conversation, and they kind of are watching television, or they're playing a video game, or they're just not paying attention. They're not giving you the attention that you've asked for. They're not supporting you, and your goals feel and sound like, oh, that's a dumb idea. Oh, you want to, create something, a new business, or you want to, apply for a new job, or you want to, whatever your goal is. If people don't recognize that that goal is important to you, and you are in a relationship, you both are in a relation, you're both in this boat together, that may be a sign of an unhealthy relationship. And here's the thing, beloved, support is so important, and you don't have to really do a lot to support individuals. Many times I always say, just, can you give me a little eye contact? Can you let me know that you are present? Can you let me know that you are here? I remember Felicia Rashad saying one time, she said, I just need to know that you are here, right? Here with everything that you have, every cell, every molecule, your attention is right here with me. And I want us to remember that you're not asking for too much. You're never asking for too much. And if somebody says to you, when you are giving them a download, distinctively a strategic download about your goals, your dreams, and they don't want to pay you any attention, and that's happening continuously, rotating credit, you may need to decide if that's the best relationship with you, okay, and for you, right? Next number, which kind of coincides with what I was saying before. I know people are always asking me, like, sometimes, what are you reading? So I want to say, I do a lot of my notes. We're going to do this little intermission. I do a lot of notes throughout the day, and I don't really watch a whole lot of television. I listen to music, or I really just like to have total and complete silence. And so people are a lot of times asking me, like, do you scribe? Of course, so I always tell you all that I scribe, and because I'm a writer and author, so I love that. But then there are certain times where I can't find a pen or a piece of paper or whatever, and I go on my phone, and I tell you, I have so many words and curriculums on my phone. I'm gonna show you right now. This is personal, but this is what I'm reading. So these are, let me see, can you see that? No, you probably can't. There you go. So these are my notes. Don't look at my typos. So these are my notes that I actually write throughout the day. And when I know that I'm coming on here on Wednesday, I make sure that I am prepared. And so that's that. Okay, so number next, as my grandmother would say. I hear Angel said that's a big time. That's big time to bounce. I definitely agree. So here's the next thing. When you know that you are perhaps in an unhealthy relationship, you demonstrate, or you can see that there's some codependency that is within you, right? Or within them. Let me give you an example. If you come to the person that you're in a relationship with, and you're saying, you know what, I really feel like, let's say you looked at a house, right? And you can go in and you say, I really didn't, sense that was the best house for us. I really didn't sense that real estate broker, really kind of paid us a lot of attention, right? And so that person then who you are in the relationship with, they come back and they say, Um, I don't know. Like, I think that it was like there's always like a counter, right? You say black, they say white. You say left, they say right. Like you, at some point, you have to say, this may not be toxic yet. This may be just unhealthy relationship. Like you guys can't agree on absolutely anything. You say you want fish today. They say they want steak. You know, it comes to a point, no matter how handsome they are, no matter how pretty they are, no matter how much money they have, it comes to a point where you have to say, you know what, this probably is not the best relationship for me to be in. And it is okay. It's okay when you recognize that this is just not the best relationship for you to be in. And I say to recognize that sooner than a whole lot later, right? Recognize it sooner than later, right? And so my next thing is that when individuals make you feel insecure, right? I know that there's a show that's called Insecure, I believe. But when people that you're in this relationship with, platonic or romantic, if they're always making you feel as though you're unworthy, if they're always making you feel and you sense, y'all hear that, that you are not valuable, right? We gotta then at those points, you have to start thinking about like, is this how I really want to live my life? Is this the relationship that I really want to be in? When people say negative things about you, oh, wow, your hair is too short, just little things, you know, your hair is too long. Oh, I don't like you looking like that. Or I don't like when you wear that. And this is male and female, right? If everything, it makes you feel as though you're not enough. It makes you feel as though you're literally not enough, right? So when you have a situation like that, you may want to just listen, right? You may want to feel and you may want to listen. And you may say, you know what? Because eventually you're going to get tired of that. And that situation is going to escalate. And sometimes what happens is that you get hard. You know, there's something I heard the great book say that their hearts were hardened. You're going to get hard, right? And once you finish that relationship, you take all that baggage. Unfortunately, what seems to happen is that you take all that baggage into your next relationship, right? And so when you recognize those signs, you want to make sure that you say, I am more than enough. I am worthy, okay? So next, I'm just going to say this is 9 or 10. And now this is a big one here, right? I want to say this. You are in, not maybe, but you are residing in a unhealthy relationship. If any man or woman decides that they're going to put their hands on you, that is not maybe. Beloved, hear me. Please do. That is an unhealthy relationship. I am not here to tell you what you need to eventually do when it comes to your marriage. What I am here today speaking about is some signs of an unhealthy relationship. Can you bring an unhealthy relationship into order, into a healthy relationship with a whole lot of work? Absolutely. I believe that you can. But here is the tickler. It can't just be one person. It can't just be you wanting to have this great and beautiful relationship. It has to be the other party as well. And so in order for you to have all this, you got to have two people in this relationship, whether it's a platonic relationship or whether it is a romantic relationship. Two people have to recognize that they are having situations, that they are doing something wrong or inappropriate, or whoever is doing that wrongness or inappropriateness has to recognize it, has to verbalize it, and want to change and want to live a healthy relationship, want to be in a healthy relationship, but also want that particular person that they're in the relationship with to also be the best that they possibly can be. So it doesn't profit you if you're in a relationship and you're saying, wow, she slapped me over the face. Who are you to put your hands on another human being? No, we don't do that. That's what we don't do. Who are you to slap her? Who are you to pull him by the arm? Who are you to pull her by the arm? We don't do that. That's not what we do. Those are not healthy relationships. And I know we've seen television shows and series where people are just like, oh, that's just how I show my love. No, beloved, that's not what love does. It's not. It's not what love does. Love cares. Love supports. Love doesn't put their hand up and places it on any part of your body that you did not give them permission to place their hands on. Right? That's not what love does. Love supports. Love is patient. Love is kind. Right? Love doesn't want to do harm. So if you are in that type of unhealthy relationship, here are your options. Not telling you what to do, but here are a couple of options. You bring that to the forefront, not like you have to, in particular with physical abuse. You bring that to the forefront and you say, and you mean what you say, beloved. Don't smile and laugh about it. Oh, you slapped me. Don't do that no more. No. That's not what we're going to do. Right? And even from a guy, oh, she slapped me, man. She slapped me. I had someone, well, anyway, I won't even do that. But I've heard a lot of things from a lot of people, and it's just like, it's a joke. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. When somebody lays their hands on you, I don't care if people come back and they say, oh, I was intoxicated, or I was drunk, or I was high, or I had a bad day at work, or I lost my dog, I lost my wallet, I lost my purse, I was mad, I didn't get the promotion. That gives you no reason, no right to lay your hands on another person. A person that you say you care for, a person that you say that you love, a person that you've made a commitment to, that doesn't give you the right. You don't own other humans. You don't own other humans. We care for other humans. We want to see you prosper and do well, right? That's one. Physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all of that. Verbal abuse. And this is one that I experienced this in one time in my life, not now. But I tell you, that verbal abuse, that's rough, because, oh, they didn't hit me, but they called you a B. Oh, well, that's like that's not a bad thing. Listen, this is Antoinette Marie speaking. I don't want anybody calling me a female dog. That's not cute. It's not bedside manner. I don't care what you see on television. I don't care if everybody on television calling another female a female dog. That is not cute. That we are humans. We don't treat people that way. And I know in some dictionaries, it's like, oh, that's cool. That says I love you. When did we get to a point, y'all, where calling somebody out their name is cute, right? When did that happen? When did that happen, right? And so whether it's physical abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, and it doesn't even necessarily just have to be that particular word. It could be all kinds of things. It could be somebody saying, you are so trifling. And it's saying that to you constantly, over and over again, that you literally can rehearse it. You start to remember it over and over. It starts to replay in your head when you wake up, when you fall asleep. I want to say to you today, you are not what people say or speak about you. And when you are if you ever find yourself in a relationship like that, they can either get some help or you can decide it's time to go. Because you can't change people, right? And I know a lot of times we try, well, I'm just gonna, she done did, I'm just gonna give him another chance. How many chances, beloved? How many chances? I see what you said, Keisha. You said I suffered from verbal abuse. So I want to say to you, I understand. I suffered from that as well. And this is the reason why I wanted to, I know that I have the capability to talk about this. I remember when I found out that I had a brain aneurysm, and I remember somebody I was in a relationship with, because I'm going to speak life, this person said to me, go ahead and die, B. And I was like, oh, say what now? That was the most atrocious thing to this day that anybody had ever said to me. That thing stuck with me. I had to have therapy on that one, y'all. But that thing stuck with me because I was saying, me? The person that you've known for, wait, what? Okay. So don't think that people are going to change just because you have said, you know what, you're not going to speak to me like that. And particularly if they're saying it constantly, like, and sometimes we just be like, you know, oh, and that's no. Nobody if they're not calling you Keisha, then every other name besides for lovely and fantastic, best, righteous, beautiful, queen, princess, if they're not saying those things, be done with that. Be done with it, right? Angelique said that's how those negative self-talk cycles start. That is absolutely right. I tell you what, Angel, you all up in my curriculum today, but I really I so appreciate you more than what I can really tell you right now. But Nikwa says, I was a victim of all abuse in my former relationship, and I got my daughter and myself out safely last year. I am so glad, Vaniqua, that you have said this, that you went the legal route to keep us safe, and every day is where we're surviving. That is so good. I want to just give you a hand clap for that as well. And so I know that I'm in the house today. So that thing right there. So physical abuse, verbal abuse. Call me that. I bring the worth of the wrath of God. I hear you, Michelle. The other thing too that I want to talk a little bit about when it comes to abuse is psychological abuse, right? Where a lot of times you don't feel that you have like the fight in you to even leave, or a lot of times you'll have situations where people will say, well, no, it's not me, it's something wrong with you. That's psychological abuse. Like if somebody comes out, and I'm going to say it this way because I want to be inclusive to my brothers as well. So if you know that you found your wife cheating, and then all of a sudden you like, okay, and they come home and she says, well, it's because you don't give me everything I want. You're the reason why I cheat. No. And again, no, it's just not true. That's psychological, right? They're trying to play games with your head, right? And that's that deep, that's that depth work that probably somebody like Sarari can really, really talk about when it comes to psychology, right? From my perspective, I'm probably gonna really talk a little bit about the psychology of that, but really about the spiritual implications of that, right? It's not your fault. They cheated because that's what they wanted to do, right? They were dishonest with you because that's what they wanted to do. And I want to say that when you find yourself in a situation such as that, and it continues to play with you and you're afraid to speak out, get out, right? Make a plan, get out, right? If you can't go immediately, make a plan, strategize so you can be in a safe environment, free from a narcissistic individual, right? You don't need that in your life. You don't need that in your life at all, because here's the thing. The reason why we're here is because God wants us to grow. He wants us to learn, and he wants us to thrive. That is the goal. And you do all of that when you are in your life's purpose. You cannot. It's very, very difficult, truly and authentically, for you to be in your life's purpose when you have someone physically abusing you, mentally abusing you, psychologically abusing you, have a narcissistic attitude. Listen, I don't care how much money she has. I don't care how many side jobs she got. I don't care how much of the bag she bringing in. I don't care how much money he bringing in. I don't even care if he in an S suite. He could be a chief executive officer making $1.2789 million a year. You deserve better. You deserve better, and you deserve better. All right. Here's another thing. When you believe that you're in an unhealthy relationship, when you start to want to change things about your body because of what he or she has said. Oh, wow, your stomach is, you have a muffin top. Oh, I don't like you in the muffin top. I don't like you having the muffin top. When you going to fix yourself up? Oh my goodness, you dyed your hair blue. Oh my goodness, you dyed your hair orange. Oh my goodness, I don't like you like that. Stop changing yourself and your creativity because somebody told you that they don't like you. Let me give you an example. So many of you know, like, I have natural, I don't have whatever, right? I have natural hair. Everybody got natural hair. It's coming out of your head, right? But no chemical. And so through my journey, right, I have had my hair silk pressed. Now I have braids. I've had false locks. I've had it just totally wavy, just naturally put gold in there, shampoo it, condition it, come out, be looking like it. And let me say this to you. There was never a time where my hubby said to me, girl, please do something with that hair. Just do something with it. When I decided I was going to get braids, he was like, okay, that's your head. Do what you want to do. The way that you look should not have anything to do with the way that your individual that you're in a relationship with, this person that loves you, and love can be platonic, by the way, okay? This person that loves you platonically, or this person that loves you romantically, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Ugh. That's a problem. That's a problem, right? So you should not have to decrease. Here we go. So I love when God just is like, he just speaks. You never should have to decrease your individuality. There we go. To make somebody else happy. Because actually, you can't make somebody else happy. Happiness and joy. Actually, happiness is temporal. Joy is a lifestyle, right? So I want you to think about this. So Facebook, you says, I've experienced both physical and verbal abuse in my past relationships. It was hard for me to get out of the relationship because I had been with this person basically all my life. He's the father of my children, the only man that I have ever been with. It feels so good not to be in that relationship anymore. I want to say to you, Facebook user, congratulations for coming out. Congratulations for having the strength enough, because I know that feeling. I know that, baby. When I tell you I know it, listen, this is the reason. why God, our Most High, is having me to speak about this today. All right. Thank you. Congratulations. I applaud you for doing that. Right. And I'm not going to sit here and tell people, oh, it's going to be easy just to get up and leave. It wasn't easy for me. Definitely was not easy. I had 4 children that I had birthed. Wasn't easy. But I'm here and I did it. And you can do it too. You can do it too because you are worthy. All right. Number next. And this is something that a lot of times people seem to feel like it's little. But if you know that you're not living a healthy lifestyle, it may be signs that you're in an unhealthy relationship. If you know, and not listen, you do whatever you believe that is good for you. But I will say this, I know that there's certain things that are not good for me. So I'm not an individual that can engage in certain type of extracurricular activities. Just can't, don't want to. I'm not like threatened by it or anything such as that, right? And so you are the only individual that knows when you are in an unhealthy environment. If the environment is unhealthy, if the environment is saying, you know what, like every time you come home and you know that you don't drink liquor, and every time you come home, even if it's not every time, there's somebody at your house and and people are there and people are drinking or whatever the situation, they're engaging in anything like that, that does not suit you, that's a problem. And if you are in that type of relationship and you told that individual, listen, this is just not what I do. I don't want to engage in this. I don't want to come home from work and see people at my house. It's time to speak up, beloved. It honestly is. And what's so interesting is that my grandmother, it's something that I saw with her. And I know people call me very conservative. I'll take it. I'm okay with people calling me conservative because that's your take on it. And I'm okay with it. But one of the things that I've always said, I never want to have it where when my husband comes home, or if you have a wife, I want my husband to come home and I got visitors in my house. I want it where when my hubby comes home, I want it to smell good. I am a conservative wife. I will tell you that. The majority, probably 85%, right? But I want to create such an atmosphere and an environment for my husband that when he comes home, there's some food for him to eat. Men, you can do the same thing, right? You can do the same thing. If you come home before your wife and y'all have this communication and you all both comprehend what you want to see happen during the week, you can do the same thing. So that's one of the reasons actually why I decide to either come on during the day or whatever the situation is. I don't want to be on social media and my husband is sitting over in the great room looking at me like, say what now? You ministering to all these people on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and you can't come over here and talk to me? That's a problem. So that is the reason. So that is one of the reasons why I try to do things early. And I might even have to change my 5 o'clock to a little bit earlier, but I will let you all know that. So my point is this. Make sure that you examine those things when it comes to being in a healthy relationship. You know when things are not healthy for you, right? You know when things are when you feel stuck, right? The other thing too is this, it's just speaking about being stuck. If you know that you're stuck in crazy communication, like you say something and he says something, you say something and she says something, you can't seem to agree on absolutely anything. You can't literally hardly ever agree on anything. Who wants to be in a relationship like that? It may be signs of an unhealthy relationship. It may be signs of an unhealthy relationship, right? Beniqua says, nothing in life is worth it. Worth it will be easy. And that right there makes you even stronger. Absolutely. But you have to agree on certain things, something you have to agree on. He say left, you say right. So I want you to trust yourself. I want you to trust yourself, beloved. King, queen, man, woman. I want you to trust yourself, right? I got about 3 more and then I'm done. Here's another thing. You may be in an unhealthy relationship when you realize, oh, this is a good one right here. Lean in, just lean in on this one. You may be in an unhealthy relationship when you realize that you are dreaming about somebody else. You may be in an unhealthy relationship when you realize this person, or you thinking and you're wishing and hoping and wishing that this person was somebody else. I just wish that they would treat me like Joseph treated me. I just wish she cooked like Alexandria cooked. This is not a healthy relationship, beloved, for you to be reminiscing about your old bae, your old boo, right? That's not a good thing, right? And I know a lot of times people say, well, I'm just, kind of comparing and he used to do this and she used to do this, and don't do that. Don't, because they're not the same human beings. I'm sure there's some things that I call it comparativitis. We just compare people with other relationships that we have been in, right? But if you find yourself reminiscing and, you're like, man, he don't do it like that and she don't do it like that. And, you keep hoping that he's going to change and, be a little bit different, or, they're going to like morph into this person that you want them to be. You are not in reality, beloved. This is not good soil. It's not good soil. Stop planting your real good seed, your organic seed. Some of y'all gonna catch that one. Stop planting your great seed into somebody else, and then you want that somebody else to be somebody else that you used to be with. No, that's not how it works. That's not life. That's not living. That may be existing for a time, but it's really not living. I say this to you because I love you. So if you find yourself in that situation and you're hoping and wishing that this person could be the other person that you were with, or the 2-time person before that you were with, don't do that. Now, what you can do is that if you want to, I don't recommend it, but if you are that if you daydreaming so much about this other person, you may want to maybe get the number again and engage in that type of a conversation. But you can't do both. You can't be in a real loyal relationship, platonic or romantic, and you're saying, man, I wish that she could be this way. Oh man, I wish that he could do this. That's not the way that relationships, strong and healthy relationships, are. All right. The other thing is that stop chasing down moving targets. And when I say that, what I mean is that if you have to chase that person down to love you, if you have to chase that person down for them to show you affection, if you have to go in their cell phone and try to get their password and try to get their fingerprint while they sleep, if you trying to take a picture of their eyeballs so you can get their facial recognition password, then that's not the relationship for you. That is not. It's not. It doesn't matter how much they put it down. It doesn't matter how much money they got. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. I want to say that. I want to change my wording there. It should not matter how much stuff they have. They have 5 rental properties. They got all kinds of vehicles. If you find yourself, and we're talking about trust here, if you find yourself sneaking in their phone, if you find yourself eavesdropping, picking up the other line, if you find yourself forwarding their telephone calls to your phone as well, that's a problem. You and they are worth more. That's not the relationship that you need to be in. If you don't have trust, and love and care in a relationship, that's not a real relationship. SHIP, we're in agreement. We're in the same thing. We're in this together. Then you're not in a relationship. You could be having an episode. You could be in a entanglement, but that ain't really a relationship. Okay, so don't do that. So if you done win and call Verizon, Sprint, US Cellular, AT&T, and you got her phone forwarding over to you, or you got a second line for your side piece, or woman, you got a side piece, don't do that. Don't do that. You are worth more. Just get out of the relationship if you're not going to be open and honest with your mate. Just get out of the relationship. Even if it's a platonic relationship, because I've seen some really destructive platonic relationships, y'all. If you don't trust another human being, then get out. Nobody's making you stay. Get out of that situation. It will work itself out. I promise you. I didn't think I could get out of mine. I tell you that. I never listen. You deserve more and you deserve better, right? My last one here. If you find yourself always having the same conversation, it's always negative, you feel drained, I call them cycles, and you're not growing, you're just surviving, you can't solve issues together, it's a pattern, it's continually repeating, you're fussing, you're fighting, you don't want to sleep in the same bed if you're in a romantic relationship, you don't want to, if you're in a platonic relationship, you don't even want to be bothered. You see their name comes on your cell phone and you're just like, oh, let it go into, let me do not disturb it, or you'll just click it so that it goes into voicemail. Sometimes you have to get to a point and you have to be, as my grandmother would say, you got to be grown and mature enough to tell somebody this. And y'all can write this down if you want. You have to be able to say this. You know what? I believe that our relationship has reached the end of the road. And it is not serving either of us to continue in this relationship because it's unhealthy. It's not what you want, neither is it what I want. And so let's come up with a plan so that we can transition. And if they say, no, I want you to stay, so on and so forth, it's not about if they want you to stay, right? And this is how you do it nicely. I know that there are certain times, and particularly depending on that relationship, you don't have to tell nobody nothing. You get yourself up, you make a phone call, and you run and you get out of there, right? Right? If you are in an abusive relationship, Antoinette Marie is not telling you to stay in an abusive relationship. I want to say that again. Antoinette Marie is never going to tell you to stay in an abusive relationship. And even if it's not abusive, if you just don't want to no more, can you give that So a hand clap, you can just say, you know, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be involved in this relationship anymore. Now, I know if you are married, this is a different level up type of conversation, because, and particularly if you have children, so on and so forth, your steps, you got to step it a little bit different, right? I ain't say still stay. I said you got to step a little bit different. But if you are an individual and you are single and you just come to a point, you just say, listen, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. If you know that you are in a relationship and you marry, you can say the exact same thing. If you have all these signs that this is an unhealthy relationship, it's unhealthy. And if you have children, they know it's unhealthy as well. Because a lot of times you hear people say, I stay for my children. I get that. I understand that. I said the same thing. I said the same thing, right? And then it comes to a point where you just have to say, let it fall where it falls. You must live your life authentically. And that is not a spooky word. It's not a mysterious word. You have to live authentic. And I believe that even in the great book, when it says to live a life of abundance, you cannot live a life of abundance if you are not authentic. I didn't say live a life of money and riches. I don't care about the money and the riches. I said to live a life of abundance. And I think that abundance and living a life authentically go hand in hand, right? I know a lot of individuals that have a lot of money, but they are not living authentically. And they are at one another's heads all the time. They're in their relationship. I tell you, it's pretty sad. So that's what I wanted to let you know, that you need, and we all need to be able to grow emotionally. We all need to be able to grow cognitively. We all need to be able to grow spiritually, right? Don't let people allow for you to sit in a relationship that you know that no longer serves you. That no longer serves you. And sometimes we try so hard because, you know, like we always say, like, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, you know, like I have even some relatives that I'm like, I've tried. I don't know what else. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? I'm here if you need me. I'm here. And if I can't be there, let me make sure I can maybe find somebody else to help you. But I'm not that person. That's okay. I believe that that's okay. Right? And so today, hey, Shamika said, what? They came for you, sis. Just inbox me the name. I don't know. She said, authentic. Angelique said, authenticity is the only way to live a life of abundance. That's absolutely right, sis. You're absolutely right. That is the only way. That is absolutely the only way. Angel said, I pray for this word today. Thank you for being a blessing, Queen. Thank you for being here. I do. I love you all so much. And I don't have it all together. I can tell you that. But I do want to strive to help individuals that may just need a little bit of encouragement, right? And so that's why I come on here on Wednesdays. I want you to have that midweek inspiration. I hope that from this conversation that we've had together, that it gives you some clarity, right? That it gives you some confirmation, not that you needed it, but sometimes you find yourself sitting and you're like, okay. And then somebody will say something. You're like, okay, God, I done heard you 5 times. Let's handle this business, right? And so that's my hope. And that has been my prayer, is that you gain clarity of mind, gain clarity in your body, and then you also gain clarity in your spirit, that you are able to be in that overflow, that you're able to be in that overflow. And I want you to also know that you deserve better. Whatever that looks like to you, beloved, you deserve better. And I also want to let you know that I love you. Every time I say that I love you, I find myself getting ready to cry. but that's just who I am, right? And I want you to grow. I want you to grow. You're great. You're divine. You're beautiful. Don't let any situation, don't let any person tell you that you are not that, because you are. And the reason that you are is because you were created by a great and divine God. And you have God in you. And so be strong in knowing that your situation, that you can change it. Nobody's coming to save you. Like, you can change listen, how about this? Why don't you have the audacity to change your life? You have it. You have the audacity to change your life. Nobody else can change it except for you. Except for you, right? And I always say, yes, pray about everything. But when you finish praying, sugar pie, my grandmother used to say, sweet sugar, get up, execute, make some moves, strategize. And if you need a little help, I'm here. I'm here. AntoinetteMarie.com. I'm here. Send me something. Send me an email. Antoinette Marie Speaks, or you can do speak@AntoinetteMarie.com. I'm here, right? And so, as always, I want to say thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Vaniqua. Thank you, Carrie. I saw you there. Thank you for my Facebook users. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all of my YouTube subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, my YouTube page is Antoinette Marie Williams. I believe that's what it is. And I'm going to be putting some content that I'm going to be pre-recording. I'm going to be putting that only on YouTube. I'm going to be putting it only on YouTube, starting probably in June, because my birthday's in May and I celebrate the whole month. So I might not be doing a whole lot of content creation, but I did definitely want you to know that. So thank you for being on here. Thank you, Keisha. I appreciate you. Thank you, Vaniqua. I appreciate you as well. I'm very proud of you, Keisha. Very proud of you, Vaniqua, Michelle. I really, really, truly appreciate you being present and being here. I saw you, Joy Jacobs. Thank you so much for being on here. And as always, if you have a husband or a wife, please let your husband or wife know that they are important to you and that you love them. Love is not just what you say, it's definitely what you do. As well as, if you have children, let your children know that they are important to you. And even if they don't reciprocate it, it's okay. You're the parent. It is okay, right? Give them a call, give them a text. I say call just to hear their voice. I heard from one of my sons today. I was glad to hear his voice, right? Do what you can do and be the best, absolute best that you absolutely can be. And I want to let you know that I love you and God loves you more than what I do. I will see you on Sunday for Bridging the Nations. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. So on Sunday for Bridging the Nations, we already have the title. Let me tell you what the title is going to be. See how you get these nuggets? Our title for Sunday is going to be Open Your Eyes, You're Being Robbed. Open your eyes, y'all. You're being robbed. So that is our title for Sunday. And I just want to say that you are great. You are lovely. You are impeccable. You are divine. God has created you in his image. Never let anybody else tell you anything otherwise. This is Antoinette Marie Williams, aka Antoinette Marie Speaks, and I will see you on Sunday. Be well. Take care.
Hello, beloved. This is Antoinette Marie. You know, I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together.